Thank you so much for speaking to me. This series was so incredible and it was so intense, yet there were a lot of different emotions going through it. I wanted to talk about Sergeant Lastman, which you play. What's interesting is that he's lived in Long Beach. Can you talk about whether or not you feel that his experiences in Long Beach kind of shaped him as an officer or a sergeant?
Absolutely. And I think that that's the point is that the show explores the close connection between community and those charged with protecting and policing the community. And so I think obviously people that are from a community and have a certain pride of the community and really know the people, not just the sort of caricatures of a community, not just the sort of the paper version, but the real people, I think is important. And so I think that it shapes him because he has a vested interest in how this community is policed. He's old school, so I think he's battling this old school approach, which is all he knew, with this new approach, which one is effective. And I think the show, without taking a stand, being pro police or anti police, I think it just shows that none of these ways are perfect. They're each flawed. The old way, the new way, like this, that it's a tough position to be in. And there are strong things about them. And so do you have to create this sort of hybrid of policing? And no one's ever going to be fully satisfied. But I think it just explores those things. But I'm glad that we're not here to preach. We're not here to convert. We're not here to tell you what you should think of police. You think whatever you want to think of police, good or bad. That's not our job. That's not the purpose of this show. The purpose of this show is to simply show a uh, very up close and personal perspective of these people that's charged with protecting and policing the community. And so the camera styles that we employ, the uh, uh, body cam, dash cam, regular studio cameras, the different cell phones, it's all to bring the viewer to give the viewer a much closer perspective, not a distant voyeuristic point of view, but a very up close and personal point of view. And but I also think that that adds this sort of propulsiveness, and I think it adds this really cool adrenalized thing. I think that's why the show is so exciting. But again, we're really not trying to make statements about what one should or shouldn't think about cops.
What I love kind of is that filming technique. I felt like I was right there in the moment with these police officers. I wanted to talk what's really interesting with your character is there is a difference between trust and safety and kind of balancing that. And sometimes one has to overlap the other one. Can you talk about kind of that fine line? And there is an incident where it's more of safety versus trust and when to know when to play that role.
And that's, again, those are some of the difficult decisions that are made on a daily basis and sometimes on an hourly basis, um, when you are a cop or when you are a doctor or when there's just there are these high stakes professions that really, unless you're doing it, you don't have the full scope of all that goes into it. And so I think that, that the incident that I believe you're referring to just shows that there is no one way to police. Sometimes the old school way works. Sometimes the new school way works. Sometimes the new school way doesn't work. Sometimes the old school way doesn't work. Sometimes even what's in the middle. And so, and there are ramifications about your choices. And or based on your choices, there are ramifications. And I think that that's important. And so you have these split second decisions that need to be made under a lot of stress in a lot of situations. And that will impact so many people, that will impact the community, that will impact the police force. And so it's and but we want the audience to feel the stakes. We want the audience to feel the stakes of chasing a suspect, making a left turn instead of a right turn, going in a dark room. What does that feel like? Again, your opinion of policing is you're entitled to your opinion of policing. We respect that. We're not, again, I'm not here to say pro, anti. Not here to, the show's not here for that. But if you go on this ride, if you go on this ride along, if you go into these dark, alleys and rooms and all the unknown waiting for you around the corner, what does that do to your psyche? What does that do to your perspective? What does that do to your opinion? And so uh, that's what art does. We put it out there, we create it in hopefully the most truthful way possible. We put it out there, and it's for the viewer and the audience and the art admirer to form their own opinions and take away what they will. It's our job just to present as what we feel is authentic, as close to us authentic as possible.
Do you feel that Sergeant Lastman has that opportunity, whether or not we see it on or off camera, he goes home to reflect on the choices that he made and whether or not he should take a different approach? Or is he someone who likes what he's doing because so far it has worked for him?
Well, I think you've seen you've
Yes.
seen all the episodes. I think towards the end, I think we raise a very interesting point. People are often judged without all the facts. I think who you see Lasman as in the beginning of the series and who you come to realize he is at the end of the series are not necessarily the same. And that's also through the eyes of the lead Troyan, her character, the Harmon character.
Mhm.
She thought he was one, just as he thinks she's one thing. And then there is that moment where they both realize that they, arrived at this opinion of each other and their styles of policing without having the facts. And I think that's what we do. And I think particularly through social media and through where we are at this moment in society, where we do that. So it's not so much that he reflects and wishes he could do this. I think he just wants results. He wants what he feels are the best results. He's willing to, he understands the tragic piece of information, which is there's no perfect way to police. He understands. I think he gets it more than anyone in the show, and I think everyone thinks that they might have the perfect solution. I think because he's such an old head and such an old school cop, deep down he understands there is no one way to police. The question is, can I change in the areas that I need to change? Can my character change in the areas that he needs to change? And can the ones that think this is the way, can they change as well? We have a naive, young, idealistic perspective from a rookie cop. We have something in the middle from some other cops, and we have this old head point of view from my character and cops like me. Where do we fit? What's going to be the most effective? Is it a hybrid? Is it a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of that? Or is there simply no perfect way to do it? I don't know. I don't. But that's I love art that asks questions without forcing answers and let people walk away and go, well, I would, okay, fine. That's how you would do it. Or but it just raises questions.
There's a genuine care that he has for not only others, we know about his community. There's even the dog incident was, heartbreaking, but you did what you had to do. Um, do you feel that he makes sure he doesn't show others that genuine care? Or does he always feel that that care, he's always leading with it?
Well, yeah, exactly. I think it's how do we define care? So
Mhm,
you might not like a gruff approach. There are people that care so much that they will be blatantly honest with you. You might not want to hear what they have to say, but that's how they show they care. That like I respect you enough not to BS you, not to lie to you. Now, I'm going to tell you a hard truth. Now, some people would prefer a soft lie than a hard truth, but that
mhm,
says more about them than that says about the person giving either one. You see what I'm saying? That says something about your fortitude or lack thereof if you would prefer to be lied to than to be given a hard truth. I think he knows enough to give truths and damn the consequences. That's not always a popular position. It sounds so weird, in this society, but that's not always a popular position. But that's who he is. He's seen enough. He's seen enough. He's seen the ugly side of what lies can do. And so he'd rather have the truth and make you digest it than to, give you a lie that's going to get you into trouble or get you, or they're going to is going to create great consequences. And so I think he's unapologetic in that. But I also think by the end, I think it's the episode 8 when he and Harmon have their moment. I think there is the realization that he's been like most old heads. He's been trying to keep at bay. And I think
mhm.
by the end of it, I think he realizes that the time is definitely upon us and certain things have to give. But he's the one that initiates that conversation. So that in itself says a lot about who he is.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for speaking with me. I do love this show and its honest approach to how they depict life on the streets with cops. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoyed the show, that you got a chance to watch it and that you enjoyed it.